Hey guys, this is Sunday 1520 back with another scripting tutorial. This is episode 3 and we will be going into more functions and events and getting into the cooler side of things. By the end of this you guys will know how to do a couple really neat things. Actually things that people incorporate regularly into games. So first off, we're going to go to change here and I'm going to explain functions a bit more to you guys, because the last time I didn't do a really good job. You sort of know what this means, but I'm going to just explain this whole part right here. So a function is just something you make that does whatever's inside of it until the end, the function's end. So whatever's inside of it, it does when it is called upon, and it's called upon when it's touched. Down here, that's what we did. So this is just the name of the function. It has no other purpose. It's just naming it, like the function, as if the function was a variable and this was its value. That's pretty much what it's doing. And then this is the part that people can't seem to wrap their mind around. So what this is, whatever is inside these brackets, you can have two things. You could have leg, arm. Whatever's in here are parameters. That's what they're called. But what they really are is pretty much just like a variable. So if this is the parameter, then this is the argument. That's what some people refer to this as the argument, but technically it's called the parameter, and what it actually is the argument. So in this leg.parent, so whatever touches it, which we think is going to be the leg, find first child humanoid, and then it will do all this. So this is the argument. If I had a function per se, so we have function whatever, let's say we had num1 in here, or maybe let's do it with 2, num1, num2. You can also get good examples on functions on the Roblox wiki, so look that up if you guys want more. But if we had add num1 and num2 in here, or we had let's say x equals 1, y equals 2, and we add the two numbers here, then you would find that x equals 1, and this will be its argument because it's the first number. And to be honest, I don't really know how that works, how it knows, but all you need to know is it does. It just works. So yeah, that's pretty much what parameter and argument is. I hope you guys get that. If you don't, look it up on the Roblox wiki. It's yeah, you should be able to get it. It's not that bad. Alright, so that's functions. Hopefully you guys get that now. Name, parameters, argument is what it's actually, the parameter actually is. It's like this is the variable and this is its value. Then we have whatever's inside the function, it does if the function is called upon until the end. So that's a function. Anyways, we had an event. That's what touched is called last time. When we made this is an event. Touched. It's the touched event. So if the brick is touched, because script.parent, so change, if change is touched, well then it connects this function for us. So events, really all they do is just basic things like touched. And I'm going to show you a couple more that are kind of interesting, and you guys will be able to use these. You can go to full events list, and you can probably figure out how to use them quite easily on the Roblox wiki. And I refer there a lot, so I recommend that you actually do go to it. So I'm going to make another part here, and I'm going to show you some other events. And yeah, actually, let's just use other. We have other right there. So let's go script for other. Not doing all that much right now, so. Alright, so first thing I'm going to show you is events. When we tied it in this script, we have it down here, script.parent.touch connect change other. That's a good way of doing it. There's nothing wrong with this, but usually how I would do it, and I'm going going to use the jumping event right now. So we're going to do something a bit different. So if we find game.workspace, so game.workspace there's going to be a player in here. Once we start the game, it's going to be called player, and then we find its humanoid, and then if its humanoid is jumping, then we connect, and then here's where we make our function. I'm just going to call it jumpy, and then there's our parameters. And you'll see that there's an error there. That's because this requires an end with that on the end. And maybe not. Maybe I screwed up here. Just let me look. Saying that it is requiring something. Yeah, let me see what's going wrong, guys. I'm just gonna pause this first. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. That was a rookie mistake. What I really need to do here is our function doesn't really have a name, so all you would have is the parameters after the function and then the end. Because it's already being called upon, you don't need a name for it. So yeah, that's what happened there. Sorry, guys. So what this will do is we'll find game.workspace.player.humanoid. So there will be a player in the workspace. It'll find the player's humanoid. And then if the humanoid is jumping, which is an event, it's a new event that I'm teaching you guys, well then it'll connect this function. It's just the same as going to the end after we make the function and saying game.workspace.player.humanoid.jumping connect function jumpy or whatever we called the function. So yeah, that's that. So what I'm going to do here is just make it so that script.parent.transparency, because you guys all know how to do this, it will equal 0.5 if there's a humanoid jumping in the workspace. So I'm just going to teach you this because this is just a new event that you guys can mess around with. And yeah, so let's test that out. Alright, so here we are in our game, and there's the brick that transparency will change, this one right here, if we jump. So let's see if it worked. Jump, oh, doesn't work. So what we do, check this, player is not a valid member of workspace. So we go into workspace, we find that the player is actually called player 1. I messed up, guys. There we go, and that's a little thing on how the output is pretty useful. So now that we know that that's called player 1, we change that to player 1. So now we can test this again after debugging it using the output. I recommend you guys always look in the output if you mess up. Even I mess up on things that I consider easy, like that. So you know, it's bound to happen once in a while. And yeah, so now we can test it. We'll test it again. Hopefully there's no error this time. So we got our brick right there, and we jump. And look at this transparency, 0.5. There we go. It worked. So yeah, that's the jumping event. Yeah, so now you guys know how to use this and connect the function right away instead of making a line further down where you're like game.workspace, sorry, .player1 .humanoid.jumping, and then you connect, and whatever the function name was, let's say we called it jumpy. That's the old way of doing it. That's how we did it with our touching stuff, but now we know how to connect it straight to the function. So yeah, you know that too. So now that we got jumping done, I'm going to show you another one. This one's very commonly used. I'm going to insert another part here. I'm going to use this part to this one's going to be for what I'm about to do with you guys. So insert a script, just as usual, obviously, and yeah, so I'm going to do that way that we just practiced as well, where we connect the function right off the bat. So right now I'm going to do something called MouseClick. So what MouseClick does is if you go in to your place when you're playing, if you move your cursor over a brick like this, if I was actually playing, there would be a finger coming up, and if I click on the brick, whatever's in the script will happen. And it's the MouseClick event, and it's another cool one. If you've played Tycoons and stuff, you've probably seen it used, and those Tycoons where instead of using the touched event, use the MouseClick event. So yeah, you can do a couple cool things with this. So to start it off, script.parent, oops, got two capitals there. So script.parent, we got our part right here. And then we're going to put in a click detector on the part, because you need one to do the MouseClick event. And then we put MouseClick, which is our event, and if that happens, connect function or parameters, which we don't need for this specific one, and I'm just going to shove the end in here. So before we get started, we should make sure this works. So into the part, look up click detector right here, insert that, so that'll make this script work. That's our click detector, and we're going to make it so that when you click this, it kills you. So this is our first sort of kill brick type thing. If you want to make an actual kill brick like in obbies where you step on it and it does, just change this top line to the touched event. Yeah, we need that touched event, and then if you touch it you'll die. But this is the other way of doing it. So, how do you make a kill brick? First of all, you got to identify the humanoid. Actually, if this is a kill brick, we're going to go back and use this leg thing. So, humanoid equals leg dot parent. So whatever touched it, whatever clicked it, per se, because we're not really touching it, we're just clicking it. Leg.parent dot, or find first child, we're using the method find first child, I believe it's called method, and if there's a humanoid in there, well then, we put that, if humanoid, then, so if we found a humanoid in this first, in the clicker's parent, if there's a humanoid, then, actually this is kind of useless, because if you're touching it, you're obviously a player, so there really doesn't need to be any of this here, but we're going to put it anyway. So then, if there's a humanoid, if that works, then humanoid dot health equals 0. So that'll set its health to 0, and yeah, that works. And we need another end here, so I'm just going to move this one down because this is the end for our function, and there's that. So if we go out, F6, play solo, and we go in to test it. So we got our click detector, we got our script so that if we click it, it'll work. And it's a kill brick pretty much. This is how you do a kill brick. You copy everything except you change it to the touched event. So yeah, you guys learned how to make a kill brick in this too, which everyone seems to want to know. So that's good. So there's our brick. I believe this is the one. If we move our mouse over it, look, see, we get the finger so that we can click it. So if we click it, and it does not work, so we have nothing in the output bar. So this is, I did this on purpose, guys. So this is where you go back, and you gotta take everything you know. You gotta look in here, and pause it right here if you want. I want to see if you guys can figure out what's wrong here. You probably won't be able to, but just pause it for a second. Okay guys, so after you paused it, if you couldn't figure it out, well, here, I'm about to show you. So this is the problem here, is our argument. Our argument, we're not actually touching it, so this isn't going to work. The parent of whatever's touching it, well, it really isn't, because it's your mouse. So that's not going to work. So that's the point I was trying to show you guys. So when this happens, if you have no clue, the output bar is not telling you, it probably means that this all makes sense, and it's proper coding, but it's just not going to work. So what you do, scratch it. You think of another way to do it. So what's another way? Well, in the jumping thing, we used game.workspace.play player 1. We went straight to player 1 to do the jump thing. So let's just do that. There's a new way of doing it. So game.workspace.player1.humanoid, and we can just change his health to 0. So that's what you do. If you can't figure out anything, well, it's probably just because it's just not the way you're supposed to do it. So this one should work. So we click it, well, player 1 will die. And there's other ways you can do this where it actually finds the person who clicked it, so that you don't have to do this to a specific person. And I'll show you that in a later video, but right now I'm just doing that as a sort of debugging method to get you guys thinking and to make you try to find different solutions. So if I closed that, went to the start page by accident. Anyways, click F6, you can go on in, and sorry guys, just gotta wait for this to load. So here, this is our other way of doing it. We know that in the workspace we got player 1, inside player 1 we got a humanoid, and we're going to set that humanoid's health 0 to kill them. So that's how we're doing it for now. I'll teach you guys the more proper way in future video. Next video is probably going to be about loops, so look for that. But yeah, I'll get to it eventually. You guys will know. So anyways, click it and we die. Sets our health to 0, as you can see in the property thing over here. Health is 0, we respawn. So yeah, that's how you work. Usually the problem with these scripts, if you find it doesn't work, check if you have a click detector, because a lot of people seem to forget that. And yeah, so there you go again. Click it, die. And yeah, that's that. So there's the jumping event and the MouseClick event for you guys. So now you know 2 more events that you can have some fun with. Like I said, go to the Roblox wiki, look up a list of events. There's so many of them, and you can do an amazing amount of things. And it's all quite simple, just connecting them like this. Some of them are different, like MouseClick, where you need the click detector, and that's why I showed you to it, just because it's different. And hopefully you guys learned a bit about debugging as well, thinking different ways instead of copying the same old scripts every time. So yeah, that's that. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Watch the next video about loops, and hope you guys can keep progressing in your scripting skills.